Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eric Linnane, the Associate Director for Advising from the Undergraduate Program Office at the School of Management. Congratulations to our newly admitted Boston University students and families. Our session with the Dean is divided into two parts. First, Dean Freeman will share his perspectives on Boston University and the School of Management. After the conclusion of his remarks, he will address several questions from the audience. This morning, we are deploying new technology developed internally by School of Management students and recent graduates. It is an audience polling application that will enable you to ask questions of the Dean. If you have a smartphone, iPad, or laptop, feel free to visit the audience polling application during the presentation and submit a question you would like the Dean to address. To get started, go to the web address on the posters to my left and right, http:// or front/ can never remember, smgpoll.com. If you need access to a wireless network, you may connect to the network called SMG, and when prompted for a password, enter SMG13, all caps, SMG13. When you go to this page, you will notice that in addition to submitting your own questions, you can also vote for questions that others have submitted. At the conclusion of the Dean's remarks, he will put up the questions on his iPad and select a few questions to address before we adjourn for lunch. We hope you will engage with us and ask some great questions. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Dean. Ken Freeman joined Boston University as the Allen Questrom Professor and Dean of the School of Management in 2010. Ken has 40 years of professional experience, including 5 years at KKR, where he was a partner. He continues as a senior advisor with KKR, serving on the firm's Portfolio Management Committee. He is a director of Axelent, HCA, and Masonite. Ken began his career at Corning Incorporated in 1972, progressing through the financial function before leading several businesses. He joined Corning Clinical Laboratories in 1995, and the company was spun off from Corning as Quest Diagnostics Incorporated soon thereafter. He led the dramatic turnaround of Quest Diagnostics as chairman and chief executive officer through 2004. A study of global business leadership conducted at INSEAD and published in the January 2013 issue of the Harvard Business Review named Ken one of the 100 best performing CEOs in the world. Ken received an MBA with distinction from Harvard Business School in 1976 and a BSBA summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa from Bucknell University in 1972. Please join me in welcoming Dean Freeman.
Good afternoon. I am what stands between you and lunch. So anybody who's on other than Eastern Standard Time, or now Daylight Time, I apologize, but we're going to go through this very smartly. We look forward to sharing with you a summary of what's happening at Boston University and why we think that Boston University offers you, as the prospective students, a distinct advantage should you choose to join us. So first and foremost, congratulations to the entering class of 2017. You join a very incredible group of students. Boston University, fun fact to take home with you, Boston University had more applications overall for admissions to the freshman class for next year than any other university in the entire country. 53,000 applications for 3,800 positions. Now, 53,000 is a bit of rounding, but it's in that zone, up 20% from last year. This university has momentum. There's enthusiasm, there's momentum, there's commitment, there's excitement every day here. School of Management as perspective as well. Our applications last year, between last year and this year, up 48%. 1 out of every 5 applicants has been offered admission, which makes us one of the most selective business schools in the country. So please, Mom and Dad, would you congratulate your students with me? Tremendous honor to be considered to come to Boston University. Now let's think a little bit about our topic for today. What I'd like to share with you is about defining your future. And Mom and Dad, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to focus most of my remarks at the students in the room. In the end, it's their decision, perhaps with a little bit of parental influence here and there, but certainly students, you're going to have to live with this for the next 4 years, the decision you make. If you decided already to come to BU, we're thrilled. If you haven't yet, we hope you'll make the right decision for you. It might be you, it might be BU, it might not be BU. We hope it's the one that mainly makes sense for you in your heart. where you feel the culture, the environment, the community makes sense for you. I made that decision 2.5 years ago to come to BU from business, to help make a difference for the next generation of leaders. When I interviewed here, when I was asked to consider the job, I found this community to be friendly, caring, compassionate, competitive, and not arrogant. 2.5 years later, I can say to you very sincerely, what I saw in the interview process, my admissions day, if you will, is what I experience every day of the week at Boston University in Boston, Massachusetts. So our theme today is Define Your Future at BU, students. And what we really want to do here is help you understand the choices you have and how this experience will help you define literally what you do not only for the next 4 years, but what you choose to do for the rest of your lives. We help you answer a question, a very critical question. When you come to this university and come to the School of Management, we hope to help you understand how you personally intend to create value for the world. What do you want to be? We help you discover who you are as a person with very well-rounded education, including business as well as liberal arts requirements. At the very same time, we help you define your career path and the paths you want to take professionally when you leave this place. So it's a multifaceted approach we take to education here. It's not just about a job. The job's very, very important, first and many thereafter. It's at the very same time helping you define who you are through this very unique next 4 years of your life. As you grow, you mature, and you focus on how will I, in fact, create value for the world as I go through my life. You can see some examples here on the slide of some recent students and graduates, what they've chosen to do, and you can get a sense for the diversity right up front in this presentation of interests and focus of our students as they move forward. There's a huge, huge focus at this university to try to make a difference. We think of value as not just being finance, the financial results, if you will. We think about value being multifaceted, value for society, value for community, value for the world, in addition to financial value. The great institutions, whether they be companies, not-for-profits, for-profits, or universities, are taking that holistic definition of value rather than just limiting themselves to dollars and cents. Remember 2007, 2008? Could we argue that perhaps the definition of value was a little bit distorted in the world back then? It's our job in business schools to help change that point of view, and we start with our current students as you attend our school and you move forward. Now, the university and the School of Management, every great school starts with faculty. We have over 200 faculty at the school, roughly divided evenly. 50% of our faculty, round numbers, are PhDs, research scholars who also are outstanding teachers. The other 50% of our faculty are practitioners like me, individuals who've been highly successful as entrepreneurs, corporate executives, lawyers, all walks of life who teach in the classroom and bring their expertise to you as a student. We pride ourselves in bridging theory and practice, and we're particularly enthused by the opportunity to bring practical knowledge for you, the student. So when you go to the world, you know the theories, certainly, but you also have had the experience of engaging in a way where you have the practical knowledge necessary to enter the world on your feet aggressively as you start your first job upon graduation. Student body-wise, know that 47 states and 51 countries are represented among the admitted students for the School of Management this year. What you sense from that is a global community, multicultural, very diverse. It's really what the world is. The days of companies being one country-centric are numbered. It's very important as a graduate entering the 21st century world of work to have the perspective and the ability to work with others who come from a different background than you do. We provide that opportunity starting on day one, in the classroom setting, in the community environment, in this city as well. Our campus is fairly unique. Some describe it as a hot dog because it's long and narrow, okay? We've got Commonwealth Avenue from Kenmore Square all the way out to Alston. We have the Green Line cutting between us, but if you just walk one street over, you're on the most beautiful suburban street in Boston called Bay State Road. It's all part of what this university is. It's urban. It's 30 minutes walk from here to the seaport on the eastern end of town. It's a manageable city. It's a great city, and our campus is very much at the heart of it. We are Boston's university, quite literally, including our first name. Now, at the very same time, the city itself. You may not realize this, but Boston is the academic hub in this country. And in fact, most recently was named number 3 in the world as the 3rd most popular destination for academic study in the universe, if you will, of the world, with London, England, I've heard of it, Paris, France, perhaps you've heard of it as well, being number 1 and 2. So we're in very high-level company. There is no better place to get an education, in my opinion, than Boston, Massachusetts, because you have not only the power of Boston University, but the ability to engage with students, again, from all over the world and from very different interests at multiple universities, day in and day out, in a city that has as its #1 profession academia, followed by healthcare. Followed by healthcare. Another fun fact you might want to consider, we've been around a while. I mean, me personally, certainly, but the school, too. We celebrate our 100th birthday starting in September of this very year, September of 2013. We're going to be having celebrations all over the world. We have 45,000 alumni. You'll be eating some birthday cake should you choose to join us more than once during the year. We have a great agenda of speakers and other events planned for the school. These pictures are not current pictures, just in case you're confused. For those of you who may not realize it, on the right-hand side, this is what a computer looked like many, many, many decades ago. And this is called black and white photography, for those who might not be familiar with it also. So now let's think about your educational experience here, right? You're coming here to get an educational experience. It's a combination of what happens inside the classroom and outside. But we're going to start inside the classroom, if you don't mind. And the way to look at it is this is the foundation, if you will, for how we are operating the school, preparing you to make a difference for the world, to prepare for your profession, and to learn more about who you are to define yourself. Let's start with that vision again. We mentioned it earlier, creating value for the world. You can see in the middle of this schematic, you see something called innovation right at the core, and you see 3 circles: health and life sciences, digital technology, and social enterprise and sustainability. Again, a fun fact for consideration. As we look to the future, we want to make sure we're preparing you, our students, when you graduate, to be gainfully employed, successfully employed for decades to come. Not for today's jobs, but for tomorrow's jobs. The 3 most significant job-creating professions in the world in terms of industries for the next 20 years, no matter what country you're from or in, are these 3 sectors. Now, we certainly took some poetic liberty. I mean, digital technology is a fairly broad topic, and every company's got to address digital technology to survive in today's age. But having a working knowledge of each of those sectors will set you apart from other places you might go to school, because you're going to learn accounting and finance and all the disciplines of management, but you're also going to have a working knowledge of those industries that are defining the future of the world for decades to come. So if you go to work on Wall Street, you go to work in a consumer products firm, the odds are you're going to touch these sectors as part of your job as a marketer, a finance person, an accounting person, as you pursue your career. And having that working knowledge will give you a distinct advantage. First year, what happens here? You show up at business school, and what happens? Day 1, we start engaging you in the various management disciplines. We're organized around the disciplines you can see on this slide, from accounting all the way through to strategy and innovation. You learn, however, that these are not just discrete topics where you learn accounting for 1 minute and then finance another minute and marketing another, and there'll be some coursework that feels like that, but the real magic at the School of Management is we teach you how management disciplines integrate together. For the business people in the audience, we all know we have to put all these disciplines together, stir them in a pot every day, and come to decisions. You're going to be forced into the situation in a very peaceful way, but competitive way, to make decisions using these skills so that what you can do is do what every enterprise wants to do. It wants to perform. So we not only teach you to be experts, if you will, at a certain level in each of these areas, we teach you how these disciplines come together, so that when you're out in the world of work, you'll find you'll have an advantage on day 1 in your first job, that you can speak the language of business rather than the language of each of these separate disciplines. That will set you apart in the eyes of the employers. We hear that as direct feedback from our employers, the hiring managers, if you will, that engage with us in recruiting our graduates. Teamwork, vitally important in the world, not something that's optional anymore. The days of the top-down tyrant in business are numbered. There are a few left, but most are gone. We just had the JetBlue CEO on this stage last week, and to hear him talk, he assumes aptitude in graduates. He's looking for attitude. And I couldn't say it better. And what we strive to do, and a lot of attitude relates to, can you work in a team? Do you know enough about yourself to know what your strengths and weaknesses are? Are you able to listen? Now, Mom and Dad, I mean, we won't do a quiz on this. Maybe next time we'll use the polling for that. I mean, some of us are better listeners than others, right? You learn listening skills. You also learn teaching skills, because a lot of management is listening, learning, and then teaching others how to make decisions and make progress happen. Appreciating different perspectives. Instead of denying someone else's point of view, we work to help you understand how to appreciate the differences and build to a better answer. Resolving conflict, building consensus, giving and receiving feedback. Not easy. You learn that. The uncomfortable approach to how do you get past the discomfort to be comfortable doing this, and you'll have a much higher heightened self-awareness. I believe if we were to poll the parents in the room, you might wish we'd taught this to your students maybe a few years ago. Is that a fair statement? Maybe for some of you, right? At least as a parent, I wished when my kids were younger that had been taught before they got out of high school. Now, let's look at the pre-core curriculum. 4-year course of study at Boston University, and you're going to start with business studies on day 1. On day 1, you're going to take a course called Business Society and Ethics. We want you to be starting to think about informed judgment, making the right decisions, if you will, from the day you start here, to have a holistic view of what is business anyhow, and how does business impact society, how should it impact society. You're going to be followed with a course in finance, so you get exposed to the language of businesses called numbers right away, early on in your career. It helps with internships. It will help also make sure you've got that common language under your belt early, so as you go through additional coursework, you've got those basic skills in your pocket. And also, we're going to make sure you have a general understanding of these forces that are where the new jobs are coming and where the world's going, the sectors that we described earlier. You're going to be exposed to these sectors in your first year as well. So you have a great foundation coming out of the first year. At the very same time, you're going to begin getting introductions to everything from fundamentals of marketing to fundamentals of accounting, the basics, if you will, of each of the management disciplines, a nice dose of liberal arts course requirements to include calculus, which is my personal favorite, sectors and analytical courses, as well as career management. If you sat in this auditorium earlier this morning, you heard from Dean French and his indication that career management is a course of discussion, seminars and dialogue with every student every year that you're here. It's not something where we give you one session, say it's done, let's move on to the next thing. Career management is part and parcel of our effort to help prepare you as a student for your career every year through your time with us. Our job is to help you get the very best job possible and the job of your dreams. We can't promise it to you. No university can, by the way. If they do, ask them how they promise it, because no one can. There are no, last time I checked, there are no promises in life other than, what is it, taxes and death? I think something like that. So first year, busy, intense, and if you're wondering if business is for you, you're going to know very quickly, because we put you into the business game right away, and you'll start working in teams on day 1. Now, what happens beyond? As you get to the end of your sophomore year, or more likely the first part of your junior year, you're going to be put into something we call the cross-disciplinary core, C-O-R-E, core. If you ask a recent graduate of our school and you say, what is the most significant event that took place in academic world for you at BU School of Management, the odds are they'll give you that 4-letter word. I mean, core, that is, right? They're going to give you a 4-letter word called core. And they're going to say, you know what I had to do? I had to come up with a product or service nobody thought about before. I had to develop, in a team, we had to come up with a comprehensive business plan. Strategy, marketing plan, financial plan, deployment plan, all the aspects of introducing and deploying a product or service. And then, after all, we had to present it as if we were presenting to investors with great feedback in terms of our performance. Now, as you do this, to do a business plan such as this, after you've been taking business courses for a while, means you have some knowledge you can deploy, as opposed to maybe doing it your freshman year and creating a business without any knowledge of management. This way, you've got enough background that you can really make things move. Employers love this, and our students really love it, because when they go to work, employers say, how come you can make such a great presentation? How come you can work in teams? How come, and when I look at other graduates from other schools, I don't see those kinds of skills bringing forward. So we give you the hard and the soft skills to make it go, and this is a very important part of what we provide you in your educational experience. Now, post-core, this would be the latter part of your junior year and your senior year. You're going to have a capstone course in strategy, innovation, and global competition. There'll be advanced courses in the areas that you choose. If you choose marketing or finance or accounting, the odds are many of those courses will be channeled to your concentration area. You also will be taking liberal arts electives of your choice across the university. And yes, again, every year, career management, career management, career management, career management. If you graduate in 3 years, I guess I'll say career management 3 times. If you graduate in 5 years, I wish you very well. mom and dad in particular, right? Please try to graduate in 4 years. It's really, really important. Is that right, mom and dad? I mean, it's a really good idea, is it not? Now, how about your academic focus? The degree you will earn when you leave this place is a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. That's what it's going to say, and it will say that your major is management. It's not where it ends, however. You have a choice of 10 different concentrations at the school, from entrepreneurship to accounting to finance to marketing to organizational behavior. That choice is yours. You declare along the way, and the course electives you take help you earn the concentration, if you will. Those choices are yours. We have a wide array of choices for you. Each are exceptional in nature. There's not one that's more important than another. We're here as a balanced business school to give you the choice so that you can make the difference you want to make in terms of your choice for academic experience and then what you want to do in the job that you go out to. Lots of flexibility here. If you are very ambitious, which many of our students are, you can in fact pursue a minor outside of the School of Management. So if you want to pursue a minor as it relates to something in the fine arts, a minor in the arts and sciences area, that's open to you. This is a university with 16 schools and colleges. School of Management is one. Outstanding education across the board. You make the connection, our advisors help you do that, and you can literally tailor your education in a university that is about as diverse in terms of opportunities for majors and minors and concentrations as any that are out there today. Some examples of dual degrees, if you want to go that extra step and have 2 degrees upon graduation. You can major in management, get your BS in business administration from the School of Management, and perhaps get a Bachelor of Arts, as an example, in advertising from the School of Communications, or a Bachelor of Arts in economics from the College of Arts and Science, along with your SMG degree, or a Bachelor of Arts in international relations from the College of Arts and Sciences. These are just 3 examples. The imagination relates to you and your interests, but that's part of the really very great strength and momentum, I think, of the university in part, is that we are diverse in everything we do. We're global, we're diverse, and we tailor ourselves to what you want. We think of you here at the School of Management, students, as our customers. Many universities, faculty in particular, think of students as products. It feels a little cold, doesn't it? You're a product, right? You graduate, you're an alum, you're our product. No. You're our customers. We're here to serve you, to help make sure you get what you want done and where you want to go. And it may to some of you sound like that's kind of hocus pocus, but look, as a person who's been in business forever, if you don't treat the individuals you're trying to serve as customers, you're going to come in last. And I believe much of higher education has not treated students as customers. That's a topic for another day. We have made that transition here, and you make your own judgment, but I think it matters to you too, to be treated like a customer. After all, mom and dad, is there an investment involved here? Are you investing? I have a feeling you are. Wouldn't you like us to treat your students as a customer? I think you would. Now, global experience. BU has a wide array of opportunities, from study abroad to internships, field exploration, all over the world. A comment briefly about this. Remember, we have global diversity in terms of the student body. At the very same time, global experience, very important part of the curriculum and what we offer. At the School of Management and the university, study abroad is a very important component. BU was one of the very first universities to offer study abroad. If you were to go to Asia today and mention the words BU, the brand recognition of Boston University outside the United States is higher than it is in the United States. And it's been that way for 40 years. The BU reputation in the United States, part of the momentum again, is catching up to what the world already knows. A president of a university in the Ivy League whose colors are red, not crimson, and white, recently told admitted students that if you want to do study abroad, I recommend you take a BU study abroad program and engage with BU students. My son, 10 years ago, graduated from a school, and he did a BU study abroad program, and he did not go to BU. People benchmark this university. You will have an outstanding experience should you choose to do it, if you choose to do study abroad. The options are very, very significant. We're not yet in Antarctica, so if anybody wants to make their school decision about which continent to go to, I'm sorry, we're not yet in Antarctica, but we're in the other 6 continents. We're in 30 cities, 20 countries, and constantly expanding our offerings. Community service, this is not just about what's inside the classroom. Your educational experience will happen as much in many ways outside the classroom as it does inside the classroom. You can be doing anything from helping to clean up the Charles River, to serving in a food bank, to engaging with elderly people in the community. The choice is yours. An example of the community service orientation of the university is the BU students overall at the undergraduate level earlier this year committed 1 million hours of community service in the next 3 years to Boston as part of their contribution to a major capital campaign that Boston University is doing. So in lieu of dollars, they're committing their time and talent. It says something to me about the nature of and the passion of our BU students overall. It's a very significant event. Never been done at any other school, actually, or college. Student organizations, another way you engage, leadership skill development, no better way than to practice it. 25 student organizations today at SMG. You can see several listed here. And really, your imagination is what limits this. Earlier this week, as an example, a student came forward with about 30 interested students. He's a sophomore, wants to create a trading club, not to be confused with a finance club. Trading in the sense of very rapid trading using analytics as opposed to investments that might be a slightly longer term investment perspective. And we're working through that process for them because we've got the student interest. Students do the leadership. They lead the process. We facilitate that opportunity for our students to pursue their interests, your interests, as you go through your experience with us. Again, a very important part of your experience is not just the classroom. It's what do you do in the community? What are you doing to further your learning in ways where you can practice your leadership skills to prepare for the real world, if you will, once you graduate. Now, part of the practice piece, the way I'd boil it down for us, if I were to say to all of you as students, I'd say, you know, what about this thing, leadership, Ken? You've mentioned leadership at least 30 times so far in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. What do you mean? I'm going to simplify it to my simplest level. I would say, number one, certainly, you're all number one, you're smart. We know that. But how do you identify a problem? How do you analyze it? How do you come up with alternatives? How do you go through a process of making decisions? Using your head, very important. You would expect an academic institution to do that, wouldn't you? I mean, after all, right? You're intelligent and you want to get a degree. Now, on top of that, though, we encourage you to use your heart, often an underutilized part of what goes on in business. So we would hope that you would leave here having empathy, being non-arrogant, having passion, knowing what your passion is, which goes back to the heart. If you know your passion when you graduate, as you know yourself better, it will inform your career choices and will inform who you are. The ability to treat others with dignity, fairness, and respect is a big part of this as well. You'll learn that because you're working with teams with people from all over the world with very different walks of life, and you're going to learn how to, you're not going to be forgiven either. You're going to have to learn to work with each other. It's a good thing. Why not learn it here rather than having to learn it in the workplace? It's a great life skill that will serve you well in whatever you choose to do. Now, finally, we also put the lion up here, right? You've got to have courage. You've got to be willing to take risks. In business, the way value is created is by taking risks. So we would hope you'd take informed risks, but the ability to have the courage to make a decision, the courage to actually implement the decision, and oh my gosh, the courage to pick yourself up off the ground once the decision doesn't work exactly as the way you'd like. That's really important too. So we really focus on all three of these areas from a practical standpoint as we help teach you what it means to be a leader throughout our curriculum. So when you go to the world, you're ready to take the world by fire. Rankings. I'm sure they're important to many. They are to us as well. We're a top 25 in Bloomberg Business Week. We're number 40 in U.S. News and World Report. Quick quiz question. Which ranking do you think I like better? Right? I like the one on the left. Now, I do like it number one because the number's better, but also the way U.S. News does its polling, they poll deans exclusively. So they send people like me an SAT-like form listing about 800 business schools in America and ask me to circle a dot from, I don't like this school to I think it walks on water. And the 95% of the deans in America are scholars. They're PhDs. I respect them highly, each and every one of them. But they're voting for their friends and neighbors and their research, not for the students and what happens in terms of the classroom and the experience and placement. That's not what they're voting for. I'm one of the 5%, very much in the minority, that are business people first and foremost, here to try to make a difference for you. And so I like Bloomberg better because they use metrics. So we're number 23 overall. We were just named last week number 7 in the United States for finance. That's based on student feedback, anonymous student feedback, and it's an evaluation of what's happened inside the classroom. It's a tribute to our faculty that our students have identified us that strongly for this program. Unbiased, we have no impact, students do their voting anonymously, number 7. We're number 18 in student satisfaction. We've risen significantly the last couple of years, same in recruiters, and we expect that to continue to rise. Our intention as we move forward, we intend to become a top 10 business school. We see no reason why it cannot take place. In my lifetime, I do hope to live a long life, and certainly before my life is over. We're working it very hard. We have the momentum to do it and a university support to help make it happen. Career resources, very important. Again, piece of the equation here. Career management, every year you're going to be exposed. It's not an option. We're going to make sure you're focusing on your career whether you want to or not early on and as you go through the process. In addition, career counseling is available to every student. So if you want those intimate one-on-one discussions about where am I and where am I going to go, that's there for you. In addition, 45,000 alumni. This building every day has executives coming from industry to participate in class. We encourage it. We focus on it to make sure you have real-world experience with successful executives, alums, and non-alums. And finally, the recruiting process. And putting it all together, our Feld Career Center is that center. It's right around the corner from the auditorium. As a student, I would hope you would make that your second home when you're with us. You engage with the Feld Career Center, they will engage you, and you will get where you want to go. And there is a shared ownership to help make it go at this university or anywhere else. Where might you go? Well, this is just a representative list, and you can get a sense already that a number of the employers that come here happen to be in those sectors, health and life science, digital technology, and social enterprise and sustainability that I mentioned earlier in the presentation. That's where the world's going. That's where the employers are going. We're going along with them to make things happen. This is just a representative list. There's a larger list that you have in your packets. So there you have it, defining your future at Boston University. You have in the next 4 years the opportunity to define who you are, to discover who you are, to decide what you want to be, to at the same time be focusing in on how am I going to get that first job and what do I think that career path is I want to pursue. We provide those resources for you. You have that opportunity with a great cohort of faculty and students and staff to make it happen. We're all committed to you as our customers. Please note that if you'd like to connect with me after class here, my email address, my phone number, my Twitter handle, as well as the School of Management, we're here to serve you. You know, just a quick anecdote. I come here after 40 years of work experience, and you might say, what the heck is a guy after 40 years going into academia for? And for me, it's singular. My life trajectory was defined by my undergraduate experience. I went to a different BU. I went to Bucknell University in Pennsylvania. I was a first-generation college student, and my parents were so happy when I got my degree. They said, enjoy life. You've made it. And there was a faculty member at Bucknell who took me aside and kind of kicked me in the rear end and said, you know what? Your life's not ending, it's beginning. You've just begun your life. Aim high, try your best, have confidence in yourself. I listened. It made all the difference for me. So for me to have the privilege to be here with you and to have maybe the chance to help impact your lives as you grow and develop, like was done for me by a professor at Bucknell who had no reason to care about me, that's why I'm here. I want to help you get where you want to go, and I know my faculty colleagues and staff colleagues were all aligned around that common objective. So thank you for being with us. We hope that you get a sense for what we're about here. We are here to prepare you to create value for the world. Thank you again for being with us this morning. It's a real privilege to have hosted you today. I hear on high authority that the sun may be coming out when you go to lunch. We hope it does, because I think it'll give you a better representation of what weather can be like in Boston as well. Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you.